I will get to your calls at 888-775-3773. But I got to answer a question because I did a lot of counseling this week. And then I've been running to people and they wanted to know if they should fall, are they still saved? And meaning that if they fall back into an old habit or something like that, does that mean that they're not saved anymore, meaning that you're not born again, you have not returned to the Father? I want to tell you that once you are born of the Father, it's impossible to return to the mother. You cannot, you have once to live, you have once to die, all right? So let's say that you realize you're wrong for judging yourself and others, and that because of that you're suffering, you're in a fallen state, and you're suffering, right? And in that fallen state, you're constantly reaching out to the world for the answer, for peace within. Maybe you reach out to lies and sex and video games and drugs and whatever, trying to make yourself feel better because you're not able to handle the suffering of relying on the world. And so then you realize, you know what, I'm wrong for hating. And you go and you forgive your parents first. Forgive your mother for turning you away from your father for a lack of patience or whatever. And forgive the father for not protecting you. Once you forgive, if you truly, truly realize it's wrong for resenting, and you understand it not because I said it, but because you see it for yourself, once you forgive, God will forgive you and draw you back into the kingdom of heaven within. Because anyone who has anger, your consciousness is low. This is your lower consciousness. But once you forgive, you come into the mind of God, it's a high consciousness. So immediately you're born again at the twinkling of an eye. And so now that you're waking up, and along the way you find yourself don't do it if you try to avoid it. But let's say the urge is so bad upon you, you have to do it. You find yourself, you want to hit another little joint one time. Or you find yourself having sex again or something, right? And Satan tell you, it's not working. It's not working. You're not born again. First of all, don't believe anything in your head. Secondly, you are born again still. Because once you're born again, it's like once you come out of your mother's womb, you're born of the earth. You can't go back in the womb, right? And likewise, once you were born of the Spirit, you can't go back into the flesh thing. Meaning you can't go back into the darkness, into hell. You can't be unborn. Born of the flesh and born of the Spirit. And born of the flesh, you're dying. Born of the Spirit, you're living. So if you find yourself falling down, just get up, rise up. If you fall down the road again, rise up. And eventually you will stop falling, all right? But don't judge yourself, because the falling doesn't mean you're falling away from God. It just means you gave into that temptation of the flesh again. And it's because you're growing, all right? You're growing in the Spirit. The real you is growing. So allow yourself to grow, and you're going to rise. It's like a little kid when they fall. You're going to keep rising and falling. Some people believe a lie that they have not been born again. And so the sin is not the things that you use to try to make yourself feel better when you were in that fallen state. The sin is to hate, the judgment that you have for your parents and yourself, the unforgiveness, the lack of love. But once you wake up, you cannot fall back into dark. You can't fall away from salvation, all right? So if you fall into those little temptations along the way, no big deal. Don't make it a big deal. Don't judge yourself. Keep your eye on yourself. Doubt every thought, and you'll operate in love, and it'll be fine. Because a lot of people say, I ended up drinking last night, right? And they believe, Satan tell them, it's not working. No, it is working, just don't believe it. When you fall, get up. When you fall, get up. Brush yourself off. I hit the thing. Brush yourself off and keep going. Don't make it a big deal, all right? God is with you. And then eventually you're going to see that more and more and more you're keeping the 10 Commandments because you have peace within. You have peace, and you don't fall as much. And so just keep an eye on yourself, all right? You cannot be unborn once you're born again. Once to die and once to live. That ego has to die, and you'll be fine. So don't believe Satan, all right? And as far as this Chinese virus situation, I was driving down the road yesterday on Saturday, and I'm looking around, and it occurred to me that it's really evil that somebody is controlling the majority of the people. Somewhere, somebody, I don't know how this whole thing is working, but our battle is a spiritual battle. It's a warfare between good and evil. And I do want you to know, you got to keep your eye on yourself, forgive others, hold no grudges, right? And love will operate through you. That's why God said, stand, stand, stand. And when you've done all you can stand, stand some more. All right, so when you fall, rise up. But somebody is controlling this thing for power and wealth, I believe. I don't know who, and I don't know where or why. I mean, I know why, for the power and the money. But so what's so interesting about it is that it almost feels like they did an experiment test. Let me see how we can get the people to overreact. And so they gave you a disease, so-called disease that you can't see. And they're like, you're going to die. Go in the house. Stay in the house. Shut down the businesses. And everybody, not everybody, most people freaked out and went in the house. And now they're telling you, wear a mask. You got to wear a mask, or we're going to fine you. We're going to do this. And so now when you go to the banks and say, everybody, their mama got on a mask. And I'm like, how did this happen? It happened because you were not paying attention. They gave you something that seemed deadly, and you reacted right away. And the moment you overreacted, they got you. They got you. And now they're going against the Constitution and everything, because it's unconstitutional to make you wear a mask. It's unconstitutional to fine you for not wearing one, to stop you from protesting. They can't do that, but they're doing it because you're allowing it. And I'm telling you this so that you can kind of start waking up, folks. And I realize only a few is going to find that straight and narrow path. Most people will go by the wayside. Most people are just not going to make it. It's just the way it is. Even Christ said, only a few will find the straight and narrow path. And you can see how majority of people are overreacting to this situation. All right? And then they tell you, oh, if you don't, you're going to die. And now everybody dying from corona, right? Nobody dying from a heart attack. Nobody dying from a car accident or anything. It's all connected. They're lying to you. They're really lying to you. And they're invading your constitutional rights. And you got to start standing up, America, and especially the men. Men, get off the drugs. Get out of mama's house. Get a job and start being productive. Stop holding that anger toward your fellow man. Stop gossiping like a woman and help. The world needs you. Women and children need you to be of service, right? But you got to be productive. You got to forgive. And then you got to endure. Endure the pain within, and you will see that God is with you. So, and don't let anything be so important that you would give away your life for. Like they're telling you, you're going to die, you're going to die. And they make you freak out. And now you're afraid of dying. And while you're afraid of dying, they control you. I'll ever take your money. You freak out over the money. Don't let anything of the world be that important that people can control you with it. All right? And we need the men to return. So everything is a spiritual battle between right and wrong, good and evil. And Satan is always looking for those people that he can use in order to destroy good. All in the name of Jesus. All right? Just be aware of that. Nothing is personal. Not a big deal. But just be aware. And look what's happening to you, because I was listening to my friend, Pastor Bill Lockwood yesterday, and he said something that was very interesting to me. I had not thought about it, and he was talking about due to the overreaction. Now you have American voters on both sides, Republicans and Democrats, who are willing to accept socialized health care around the world. Worldly socialized health care. That is the dumbest thing in the world. You don't need that, and you don't want that. But because you've overreacted, they now have control of you. They can make you do whatever they want. Whoever is controlling this. And they're willing to destroy our economy in order to get the power over you. That's not normal, folks. It's normal for the worldly people to be acting this way, because the world is not of God. The people of the world serve their daddy Satan. But it's not normal for children of God. If you have truly been born again, you have nothing inside of you but love. You understand why people are in a fallen state and that they have to overcome. But if you have not overcome, you do not understand that, and you do not have love. And you find yourself going right along with the world in the name of Jesus. All right? So get to know yourself so you can wake up and be aware of what's going on. You don't want government in your life like this. I mean on both sides of the fence. I'm not just promoting one side. You don't want the government to take over your life. It's we the people, not we the government. So be aware. Stop freaking out. Just know God is with you. Even when your family members, your friends, so-called friends, or anybody, when you find out that they're turning on you, right? You're going to be shocked, but you get used to the shock, let it pass, because you know that person doesn't care about you. They don't love you or anyone. And forgive them, pray for them, and go your way, meaning wish them well. All right, everything is a spiritual battle, and you got to be willing to endure all things. Endure, because every time you endure, you see that you are a son or a daughter of God. You really do. And nothing that you will have to go through that has not been prepared for you. Christ went through everything that you have to go through. When people gossip about you, when they lie on you, when your so-called friends and family members turn against you, when the world tries to attack you, whatever, who are you that you should not suffer, right? So if you know that, relax. It's a spiritual battle. God is with you. But men, you got to come back to your natural state of being. And what you're doing in that fallen state, you're not an alcoholic, you're not a drug addict, you're not a homosexual or lesbian. It's what you do in that fallen state to try to find peace. You are either a son or a daughter of Satan, and when you forgive and enter into the kingdom, you become a son or a daughter of God. And so in Satan's nature is nothing but destruction. In God's nature is nothing but building, is love. All right? You're not the things, so don't let anyone tell you that you're a homosexual, you're a lesbian, you're a drug addict, you're this. Like they do at they have these alcoholic or anonymous thing going on, and you have to always confess you're an alcoholic. Hi, my name is John Doe, and I'm an alcoholic. Hello, John. And 50 years later, hi, I'm 91 years old. My name is John Doe, and I'm still, that's not true. You are not an alcoholic. You made that your God to try to make you feel better. You got to face the conflict. Christ has already done it for you, and He's with you, and you get past it, and wisdom will come. You're not those things, so stop saying it. Name it and claim it. You're justified by your words, and you're condemned by them. So if you always say you're alcoholic or whatever in that fallen state, that's what you're going to be. But I'm telling you, once you're born again, you're no longer a son or daughter of Satan. You're a son or a daughter of God. And all those things that you use as your God will disappear, and God will be your God. And in love, all things are possible. There's nothing you cannot overcome. So when people talk about you, when they attack, when the government say you got a disease and blah, 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 just stay calm so you can see the right way to go. All right? Phone calls.